came out of the synagogue where Yeshua would have preached, where he would be thrown out a couple times, go back. I got thrown out of here once, but I had a big camera and someone got me. But I got my segment. Matthew chapter 8. Yes. Matthew chapter 8, verse 5, it says, Jesus was entered into Capernaum, and there came unto him a centurion, beseeching him, saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick. My servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. Jesus said to him, I will come and heal him. Right? And the centurion answered and said, Lord, I'm not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only. And my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to this man, go, and he goeth, to another, come, and he cometh, and to my servant, do this, and he doeth. When Jesus heard it, he marveled, and said unto him that followed, verily I say unto you, I have not found so great a faith, no, not in Israel. That happened right here in this town. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east to the west, and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out and down in darkness, and shall be weeping. An example of the situation where he just spoke the word and the man was healed. Now you guys know the story. The man goes home. He asks what time the man was healed. They tell him the time. And it's the exact hour. It happened again when a man's daughter was dying, and he went home, and his daughter was healed at the exact hour. That's why Psalm says he sent his word and he healed them. And sometimes what we do in our ministry, when we anoint a prayer cloth, we send it to people, and we have scriptures on it. By his stripes we are healed. We send his word and he heals them. Amen. Apostle Paul did that too. All right, now if we go over into St. John's Gospel for just a second, something else happened right here in Capernaum. A lot of stuff happened here, but in verse 47, I'll read it. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me hath everlasting life. I am the bread of life. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man should eat thereof and not die. I am the living bread which came down from heaven, and if any man shall eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is in my flesh, I will give for the life of the world. The Jews there strove among themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? See, he would preach these sermons, he would just start preaching right in there. They're having synagogue, and he walks in there and he starts preaching this message. Okay? And they're like, what's he talking about? You can imagine the conversation, right? People were all gathered in.
That's not in the script.
Yeah, what's he doing? But oh, by the way, thousands of people had been coming to Peter's mother-in-law's house and were being healed. Miracles were happening. This town was hopping. The Sea of Galilee was alive. Fishermen were everywhere. Remember, Yeshua picked his 12 disciples from along these shores. So this was I guarantee you this synagogue was absolutely jammed. All the people were in there, and they would debate. Okay, part of it was the debate would go on. Yeshua loved to go in there and debate. So it says here when he tells them that. I don't want to get started too fast here, but he says to them, verily, verily, I say unto you, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whosoever eateth my flesh, drinketh my blood, hath eternal life, and I will raise him up in the last day. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. But he that eateth my flesh, drinketh my blood, dwelleth in me, and I in him. As the living Father has sent me, I live by the Father, so he that eateth me, even he shall live by me. This is the bread which came down from heaven, not as your fathers did eat manna, and are dead. He that eateth of this bread shall live forever. So he's talking about himself, his body being broken on the cross, his blood being spilled at the cross, and how he would bring you the bread of life, eternal life. And then it says, and these things he said where in the synagogue as he taught in Capernaum. right behind me. Big time message, right? And, oh, by the way, remember what Peter, he called him what? His name was Simon. What did he name him? Cephas, the rock. Well, guess what? The foundation of the Lord's first church, they say, the foundations are still here. Because he said, upon this rock I'll build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Yeah. And because he lived in Peter's mother-in-law's house, her foundation is still here. And since he called Peter the rock, or Cephas, and he said to him, when they were over there by the gates of hell, and not here, but the gates of hell, he said, Peter, who do men say that I am? He said, well, some says thou art Elias, or John the Baptist, or one of the prophets. And he says, but who do you say I am? Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. He said, Simon, Bar-Jonah, flesh and blood has not revealed this unto you, but that which has been revealed to you of my Father through the Spirit. Upon this rock I'll build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Amen? Amen? So, wow, I'm getting chills because I know that Jesus, okay, and the shoe was right back there. So I'll finish by saying this. There's so much that happened in Capernaum. How can I, there's no way I can preach for hours just on Capernaum of what happened here. But there is a 666 moment. Here's what Jesus said. He said in verse 61, John 6:61. When Jesus knew him himself, his disciples murmured at this. Doth this offend you? He's talking about eating of his flesh. What if you shall see the Son of Man ascend up where he was before? It is the Spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. But there are some of you that believe not. For Jesus knew that from the beginning who they were that believed not, and who should betray him. And he said, therefore said I unto you, that no man can come unto me, except it were given unto him of my Father. For that time many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. John 6:6. Wow. So the people walked away and never came back. Did it in St. John 6:66. Go to Revelation. If any man takes up the mark, he's damned for eternity. The number of that name is 666. Is it an accident that happened right here? Wow. It's a perm. All right. It all happened right here.